Yeah, I don't know. I just turned a YouTube one on. Yeah, I need to keep these sharp ones in here for the now. Yeah, I gotta come back over it because over here I'm on a here because I'm not doing laplation, right? And then after we do the collar. I need to preserve this line right here for now. Well, yeah, because we're not on laplation smooth, right? If I was on laplation smooth, it'd be a lot easier. See, just kind of works. I need to be on surface for now. Yeah, we're gonna put some detail on this. We're gonna stencil it. Yeah, well, I need a little bit thick here for resin. And I'll show you once we because we're gonna subdivide it again after I'm done smoothing with surface. So I'm gonna smooth it with surface now, and then we're gonna go back and we're gonna change it to laplation and do the final over. Like there's still some lines here, but this is really good. If you just turn it into squared faces instead of triangulate, it makes it a lot easier to work around sharp edges. It's mainly because I changed it to quads instead of tris. That's why it's preserving shape so much. Oops. Yeah, wrong. Yeah, see if I went over it, you can see the resolution of it. We're gonna fix all that. Just don't want anything to be too sharp. Let's do the back of the ear. Yeah, well, I could just go over it, but look, see how it's flattening all the faces? We're going to preserve as much as we can. I can hit this with laplation, though, like if I were to. Those are supposed to be there, though. Yeah, but see how laplation, it's way too strong, right? So that's why we're doing surface, and then we're going to go once over again. So I can keep tuning down how far the smooth goes. See how we're preserving so much more shape? Well, yeah, they're gonna be printing resin, right? So you can see quite an extent of detail. Yeah, it'll look a lot better when see, it's already starting to look pretty good. Probably buff that out a little. Yeah, I'm trying to do that in as many strokes as less as possible. That's good. Stende. I don't know. TikTok's really bad with the copyright thing. See how the collar around my wrist doesn't deform? That's because we're using surface smooth. So if you're at, so for example, if I went to laplation and I tried to smooth that, see how it's pulling my sleeve up like that? If you don't want to do that, just go into your edit mode, change it to quads, and then go to surface smooth. Now when I go over, you see how it doesn't deform? Like, it doesn't deform at all. That's the beautiful thing about using that. A lot of people, I've never seen anyone use that. Look at that, man. It's perfect. Yeah, I'll show you on the other one. We'll jump over there. So like I was just telling homeboy, see, like for example, if I were to go along the collar, see how it doesn't deform the edge around my sleeve? But if I were to go into laplation, that's your normal smooth. It's set to that by default. See how it moves my sleeve like that? It ruins everything when you use laplation first. So here's it is with surface. See, it's perfect. Yeah, we'll do the creases after. So we're going to go back in through this and crease it a little bit with the crease here. Sharp crease. But I usually do that after I'm done the smoothing, because then I, like, just in case I have to smooth over it, right? Here, we could probably use some laplation. This is a good area for that. See how it solved my problem? It's a little strong. See, that's laplation for you. That's what it's for. Then we go back to surface. I hate Blender. It always imports models like the Zebra. Most sculpting programs are the same. It imports blocky like this. So if you see that, that's just normal Blender. So don't think you have a messed up model because your model looks like that. You just got some extra work to do. That's all that means. Yeah, we got to fix this crease back here too. We're going to do that. We have to subdivide it so we can actually just select that area. So a good thing to do also is use surface here instead of laplation, because laplation is going to try to pull this arch out of the back. So if I try to smooth it, see how it's pulling all the faces up? And if we go to surface, we're just laying that vertice down flat. That's why it still looks kind of blocky, but once we get the other ones laying flat, see how it's starting to disappear? That's the correct way to smooth. And see, once again, once down here at the edges, so if I want to smooth these edges down here, if I was on laplation, see how it pulls that edge up? It just messes the edges up. So don't ever use laplation on that. Go to surface. Look how clean that is. It only looks blocky because there's still other faces to flatten. That's all that means. It's likely going to be right in here, but we'll use laplation for that. We need to get a little bit more subdivisions. We could fix this on the back as well with laplation. See, it's starting to pull those faces out. Yeah, we'll have to subdivide it again though. The reason why it won't let us get those little ones is because the squares, see? A little bit off here. You just cut it again. Or you could add a knife and you could just subdivide. I'll show you that later as well. Because we need to preserve some of these edges. So again, we're going to be using our surface. See how we still have a nice edge there? Yeah, almost. Just got to go around it again. It's like right here behind the ear. Almost ready for the next subdivision. See, this is why we preserve that line there. Yeah, we have to fix it. We just got to flatten the rest of these here. And then we can go down another subdivision. You'll see what I'm doing. Yeah, I can rotate this. And it's starting. You like the music, eh? Yeah. It's chill, man. Trust, man. You sit down with a nice bag of devil lettuce and you just do your favorite thing, dude. You have a good day, you know? Yeah, see right here, we have to fix this. So what we're going to do now is get into the next subdivision. So let me just go through and make sure all these jagged ones are done. It's not going to matter if I go into the next one anyway, but... Look how perfect this is, eh? That's what I mean. So go up into face and change it from triangulate. So this is where it was before. So triangulate just splits these faces into half. But if we go into quads, it's just much better, man. And then we can just subdivide it once again after we've smoothed it the first time. Look at that polish, baby. Look at that polish. See that line right there that we left? Here's why. You can find my work all over Cults 3D, Creality Cloud. That's gonna be a sick miniature, man. Something odd with this antenna though, eh? Yeah, let's smoothen this. Yeah, I can fix this. You can do it a few different ways. Blender's got some really cool tools for doing that. I'll show you one of them. I haven't tried it in this version of Blender, so I don't know how it's gonna work, but... Yeah, it'd be better if I Laplace and smooth this. There we go. Looks way better, except for this little bit of eyebrow here. So you know what we're gonna do? We're gonna flatten that off. Yeah, dude. Oh, that looks so much better, eh? Holy crap, dude. Dude, that actually one pass to that. Look at that. That's mad clean, man. Yeah, look at this. So we can fix this now. So this is why we decided to do that. Save some space. But now we can start clearing this off. Oh, dude, I got a whole set, man. A whole set. I got Super Saiyan 4 Vegeta, bro. I got Broly figures. I got a whole Broly, like the set. It all comes in one set. So this is gonna be my first full product. You know, it's gonna come in like a nice little box and foam. Or you can get the files, you know, yeah, the edge right there is a little worried. You won't even see that little edge in printing it, because you have to think this is a miniature, right? Like, yeah, soften this up a little bit. Little too defined. That's okay though. That was probably a sculpting error. Bring that skin up a little bit. So what I could also do is inflate. Where is my inflate? Better, eh? It's a little sharp on that eyebrow, though. Much better. I care about my minis, man. I love going from Blender and having them on my shelf. It's like, dude, I spent like 15 hours on that model. I could tell people I spent 30 hours on that model. It's sick. Yeah, we have to do Super Saiyan 4 Vegeta after this. And a Shugeshuzaru. Yeah, it comes in a little box. In foam, too. All the figures. And you get a set of free Dragon Ball, like little resin printed. They're unpainted, though. I can't paint, so I ship the unpainted. You can get them in a couple different sizes. Miniatures or figures. See, this is why we kept these cuts right here. Now we can start tightening all this up on the outside. See what I mean, dude? Like, that's what I said. Do the surface smooth first. Just when you do surface smooth, turn these down, because they'll be halfway up. Turn these down to about quarter, and then start your smoothing. And then when you're done your first pass over in surface, change it over to laplation and do your final pass. Look at that, dude. Like, it's just so much easier. That way you don't have to worry about edges, you know? Your edges are all pulled in already from surface. So laplation smooths the entire geometry from the inside to the outside, and surface only smooths the topology, the faces. We just have to be a little careful here. But see, after we surface smooth it, we can barely even pull these edges anymore. On laplation. Before, if we touch these edges on laplation, it would mess them up. So do your surface pass first, and then subdivide it again, and then go into laplation and do your smooth. So that way now when I go into my edges, look, it's not ruining anything. It is a little wavy because it is laplation, but look how well our hands look, eh? Like, that looks really, really good for just doing a quick pass over in surface. But now we have to be careful because we're in laplation. So for example, if I smooth this in laplation, I would have removed these knuckles easily. It would have just blown over them, you know? Yeah, his thumb's a little in there. This is a test print. I want to see if his arm will come off, though. Because every time I've gone to print this, his arm comes off in the printer. Yeah, it's weird as hell. It gets stuck. So that I'm like, yo, that's it. And just stick his thumb in there. Yeah, I have another version with it out, but I want to try this one, see if this works. Because every time I print the other one, his hand, for some reason, gets pulled off. Like from the inside of the sleeve. So I just put it on his body so it holds it from the inside and the outside. But it will be different. The thumb will be on the outside. Yeah, now we do our final pass. See, it makes the final pass look so good, dude. Now we gotta do the shoes. Yeah, we already surface smoothed it, so now we subdivide it again. You'll see that it doesn't deform my edges anymore. See how it's working really well? We're not losing our edges, and we're on laplation, by the way. You're probably wondering, how'd you do that? You just smoothed it the way I told you. Look at that. Look how clean this looks now, huh? We forgot to surface smooth this. Damn it. Yeah, well, it gets harder and harder to surface smooth something the more subdivisions you have. That's why we started with surface and then we subdivided it again. Went back into, but now I have to redo this line here, which is fun. Pull it in a little bit. Yeah, it's fine for the test print. Yeah, see how surface doesn't work as well now that we're so far in? So we'll just use Laplacian on this. Do this hand too, and then it's good to test. It's off to the printer. Hey, you get the sleeve a little bit more, eh? Yeah, you have to think the side of your head is flat, right? So you have to think your head is like a sandwich. There's two planes and then a circle in between. Plane is just a flat, square, I guess. Much better. Much better. That's what it was bugging. Oh, yeah, look at that, eh? What is that? Oh, that's the freckle. I'm gonna that. Yeah, you paint that red. I keep forgetting that's there. I don't have cavity on, right? So. Yeah, those little things up there would kind of bug me. I'm looking at a picture of Dende. He kind of has them. Yeah, that's a sick miniature, man. That's sick. A little bit more here on the jacket. You can kind of crease that out. Well, I wasn't sure if I want to paint it or if we want to etch the design directly onto the robe. Oh, damn, I wasn't on... That's why it was messed up. Oh, okay. Oh, well. It will just soften those up a bit. Yeah, it looks a little better soft, though. Yeah, I like that. Maybe do something with this little crease. Yeah, nice, man. I don't know. It might be. Yeah, I don't know if I want to dull this line out, though. Yeah, actually, you know what? That might actually look a little better. Maybe even go one pass over these little creases here. It might look a little better, too. Yeah, I don't know. The techno turned up. Let me see. Yeah, I just don't want to, like, get copywritten. I don't know. I gotta inflate this a little bit. See? Inflate tool is amazing, man. I love the inflate. Yeah, this is your blob. Inflate tool, it makes things expand, dude. Like it's a really, really useful thing. Yeah, this is that little notch right here I was after. See, now we can get rid of it that we did our double smooth. Before we couldn't. Just makes workflow so much easier doing it this way. Get rid of that little crease on the head. Dende. Dragon Ball. Yeah, it's gonna be a sick mini, man. Pretty cool, huh? There we go. That's our Dende. That's what it'll look like when it comes out. That's a good shade for it. We could, if you want. Here, I'll show you how we could do that. Go to my brushes. Where is my brushes? Oh, I'm not even logged in. Yeah, let me log in quick. There we go. I don't even know where the brush is. Oh, we're on smooth, that's why. I think. Odd. Usually it changes to the brush, but use one of mine. Oh, there it is down at the bottom. I see it. Yeah, but I don't understand why I can't. Oh! I don't have the model selected. That's why. I'm an idiot. Yeah, it's working. I just gotta increase the strength, and we gotta turn on dynamic topology. Takes a minute. Don't fear if that ever freezes or something. Then we gotta click dynamic topology and scroll this down to like 4. See, it's starting to take shape. We'll go lower. See what I mean? Looks better, eh? Yeah, it'd be tricky to do that. You could do the arms. I mean, you could. Yeah, see, I don't want to hit the fingers. I'll test it with this design and see if it actually comes out properly. Yeah, I'll smooth the collar up there when I'm done. Yeah, see how it chewed it all up? Now we can turn off dynamic topology. I guess I should have done that before I subdivided it the second time, but that's fine for testing. I got this is just for a test. I got to see what detail comes out, what doesn't. Just absolutely mangled my edges. It's like oddly subdivided there. It's missing some here, but that's fine. Oh shit, I'm on. Yeah, good call. What am I doing? I'm an idiot. Yeah, I was on crease still. Yeah, you gotta be really careful when you overbrush. That's because I came up here with the shoulder. In my brush, that circle bled over onto this part. Yeah, well, what it's doing is it's dynamically adding subdivisions as you're painting, so it re-subdivide whatever it was painting over. So in this case, our brush was slightly on the edge, and it re-subdivided these edges. And kind of like made them whatever resolution it needed to produce this design, which we can get a way better resolution and depth from, by the way. We can also set the layer of it if we use this clay brush. So the way to use these is you choose a brush, and you choose a pattern, and you can use that brush with this pattern, right? We were just using the basic draw. I need to see what works with resin, so... Because if I'm selling these in a pack, you know, I want them to be perfection. Yeah, I have boxes made already. Sick Dragon Ball ones, man. Orange ones, they're sick. Yeah, I have a little store downtown where my house is where I can get stuff like that. Yeah. Yeah, I'm gonna test them just like that. Yeah, dude, that's sick, man. I love Dende. Dende, I don't have any, I've never seen a miniature of Dende anywhere. Oh yeah, I have Kame too. It comes with Kame, Super, it comes with most of the GT. Goku, Super Baby. And Shugas, I think it's Shugesh Uzaru. It's a skin from, what's it called? Sparking. I love that skin. The one with the samurai kilt or whatever. Next one. See, if you manifold it, you can check for early errors. If you click this button, it's already in your blender. You just got to click it. Sometimes it takes a long time. But if, yeah, like, see how the eye messed up? There's short geometry in there. So what we can do is go back and go into edit. We can actually get that extra geometry. This is going to be red. So what we can do is this. See how it pops out now? Now it'll give you a line that you can paint on for the eye. Because on the outside of the eye of the Super Saiyan 4, the sickest one, I think, that has that sick red outline, right? So I want that to be in the model. So we can actually keep increasing this. But then now we got to change it to local transform. It's not actually doing anything. Can actually get rid of these two. Yeah, it's just because the eyebrows are not popped out. So we could probably do the same thing for that as well. Even put the eye out a little. Much better. That looks sick, bro. That looks sick. That was a good correction. Yeah, I don't want these on here either. Yeah, that's sick. That looks real good. I was thinking about keeping these. I think they look... I kept them on Dende. It's really easy just to turn those into actual geometry, though. You could do a few things. I usually use... I use dual mesh and geometry nodes, but you could use solidify, see? And then when you go to smooth it, it'll round it out. But you want to make sure they all stay the same subdivision, so don't subdivide anything. See, that's what I did with Dende. That's sick, bro. In these things, we could probably clean up some of these a little bit. These spikes on the shoulder. Just shoved them in there. It looks sick without it, though. Like... Where's the shaded thing? Oh. Yeah, I can't wait to print this. Yeah, but now what we can do is take the whole head, now that we cleared out what we wanted. I'm just clicking in there to see if there's anything I'm missing. It's a little cavity. Little piece of geometry there too. Even if you press A, you can kind of see everything. So there's nothing in there, which is good. So we got all the mistakes. Yeah, and you can just rebind it. We'll do that later. Yeah, but that way the hand's separate, right? See, like, for example, like, if I were to make this manifold, So by default, it's just a skin layer, right? But if I make it manifold, it'll fill it in. Now it's a solid model. See how it corrected the eye too? There we go. Yeah, but let's leave the arm on there. Now let's click the body, solidify it again. Let's take our eye sheet and let's get rid of those. Boom, baby. Now we have it manifold. Yeah, so for example, if I move this, see how he's solid? He's solid, see? Perfectly manifold. And that goes for both, see? And if I remove the belt, solid, see? Before manifold, he was not. You see what I mean? Always do your manifold. That's how you make a solid model. Look at the chest on the bottom of the legs, huh? It's perfect, man. Like, for example, the tail's not manifold. See how it's hollow? A lot of people upload models. This is how you know, like, people don't know what they're doing when they upload models. It's a common mistake because a lot of people don't know how to fix that, right? Like, a lot of people think, oh, that's impossible to fill. But all you do is click it, you manifold, you're done. Done. Like, that's it. And you can do that with anything, man. Like, let me take the boots off. See how the leg isn't manifold? It's hollow inside. Manifold. Done. Now we have an action figure. See what I mean? That's what I mean. Like, you could build like a 12-inch figure out of your miniature files. That's what I mean. You can use the same file for your miniature as the same file as your 12-inch figure that you sell in a kit that you can build, you know? That's how easy it is to strip your model apart and make it a figure. Like, that's sick to me, man. Yeah, this one specifically is going to be a figure. It's included in the kit. So you get a full-size figure and then you get a set of miniatures. In this case, this lineup has this one as the full set figure. Yeah, see all that extra stuff on the outside? Look inside the head. We can clean that up too. Well, that's because all the hair isn't manifold. Like we just did the tail, how it's hollow. It's because the hair is also the same. And if you look at the bottom of my screen, when I press the manifold button, you'll see modified 0 vertices, 0 edges, 0 faces. That means there's no other fixing up to do. This one has 0 faces, so we can do the belt. 0. Let's see if we can find something to trigger it. 0. Let's just try to manifold the eyebrows. There we go. 2 faces. And see how it kind of changed? You gotta be careful when you do manifold. Sometimes it'll mess up your geometry. So I recommend if you're ever making figures, use Blender 3.6. And the reason why I tell you to do that is because the manifold, for some reason after 3.7 or whatever, the fix distorted faces button has been missing. So below this, there used to be another button that said fix distorted. If I click this and that happened to the eyebrows, I could fix it still. And if it says 2 faces at the bottom, then you just click manifold again until it says 0 at the bottom. And then we can fix that in smoothing. We can delete this little... I don't know if I want to keep those. Those look sick, dude. Actually, that'll look clean for a figure. I think, yeah, it would be a lot easier just to paint those on, eh? Something micro like that. The eyes I'm keeping, though. I like that solidified eye look. Yeah, if you're curious about these things. So if you're having a hard time selecting one at a time, you don't necessarily have to do that. So what you can do is just select everything in that area, hold control, go back over your model, now you own, and then you just let go, and then now you have all of those fur things selected. Now what you can do is hold shift, click one of them, so one turns yellow, press Control J. Now they're all one object, except I didn't want that hand in there. So you can actually remove that. Again, refine a flower thing. Solidify it, and then we can come over here, geometry, solidify, and then we can increase the millimeter. See how the geometry starts to mess up? It's because we didn't apply our transforms, so we need to go Control A, all transforms, and make a manifold. And then what we're gonna do is bind them back to the body. So sick, dude. I can't wait to get that out to people. I have 2 orders already. Already, dude. And I just told people about it the other day. Yeah, dude. Yeah, it's a physical kit. So I'm selling the files also individually. Or you can just get the whole package mailed to you for 20 bucks plus shipping. Like, that's a really good deal for a full-size figure and a set of miniatures for you to paint. Like, that's a really good deal. Dude, if I'm making 20 bucks off, that's it. I'm more than happy. I'm fine. Yeah, because I live right by a post office. As long as the shipping's covered, you know, I just go drop it off and away it goes. I did a Bugs Life commission, the last one I did. That's what I was posting about. Yeah, some girl hired me on Instagram. Yeah, we've already done 2 projects already in the past month. Yeah, and then we can start doing the smooth work and detail work, right? But this is how you capture most of that detail, right? So it's easy to pick your model apart and then turn it into a figure. Now we just export it. Well, first we gotta, you know, smoothen it out, add some detail into it, and there you go, man. You have a figure. I don't know why more people don't do that, right? So I know, but the reason why I'm doing it this way is because my goal has always been to make the figures that I wanted on my shelf. I couldn't afford $300 Link figures at a comic shop, bro. I couldn't believe they're asking $300 for that figure. I was so pissed. I was like, get out. I was like, fuck it, man. I was like, I can go make that myself. And I did eventually. Not posable like that one was, but it was a cool figure. It was a Breath of the Wild, though. It's just so rare to find Zelda figures anywhere. Especially in my city in Ontario. It's really hard. Yeah, now for example, like if we went into here, we could subdivide it. But remember the first step last time? We go to face, tries to quads. Now we have perfect subdivisions, eh? And then now I would recommend that you do your surface smooth. So now we click tool, surface, and now we're back still on quarter. See how it's preserving all our edges again? And like, for example, on surface, see if I went around the arm angle, see how it's not deforming the edge? Which is really cool. It just kind of evenly made it. If I went on Laplation, look at that. Destroyed in a second. The second I click it, that's destroyed. If I go surface, look at that, man. It's perfect. It's flawless. But don't ever do that, because you have to understand, because that has to sit flat in there. You just put glue in it and stick it, but yet, I guess a little bit of off doesn't matter. But this is why you use surface, because now when I go to smooth this edge, look. Look at that. It's perfect. Now, if I were to do that in Laplation, you'd mess this whole connection up. Only use Laplation if you're forcing things. Like here, you could force. But we don't have enough subdivisions for Laplation anyway. We're just trying to get the topology to sit flat. That's why we're using surface. And it keeps all sharp edges. See how this is starting to look real clean already? Like even in the face. We can inflate this. Oh yeah, we don't have hair selected yet. I forgot about that. Yeah, we should have bound that to the head before subdividing. This is why you use surface on muscles. You can keep all your muscle definitions so easily. And I recommend smoothing without these spikes on. See how they'll start to form to it? It's just easier to get into the model. And then, for example, if we subdivide down again and then use Laplation, we can really clean that up. And see how it pulls it? We don't want that. Yeah, it's almost dinner time. Yeah, so we have Dende. I gotta start Dende. Yeah, but like say for example now, right? Now that we have low subdivision and we have that good smoothing already because of surface, we can go into subdivide again. And then we can resculpt on Laplacian and then really start to polish this thing up. I do. You can email me at bossposes@gmail.com. We'll get in there with the surface smooth. See? Starting to come along already. But I'm not doing this one. Yeah, I'm gonna do this after dinner a different way. I might use ZBrush, actually. We might jump into ZBrush in a bit. Yeah, I gotta get dinner, man. I'm starving. Sick though, eh? Now at least you guys know how to make an action figure. I mean, like, remember the manifold thing. Yeah, like even the underbody, of course. You got to do this professionally if you're selling these things. Like, I notice a lot on 3D printing website, people charging a ridiculous amount of money for legit just a carbon file, you know? It's like just a skin of a figure. It's like you guys got to fill it. You got to fill it. It sometimes is really tricky, though, to get these models to manifold properly. Just always apply your scale. That's the first thing you do when you do the import. Control A, apply all transforms, and then right click, add origin to geometry, center of mass. Because then it's going to solidify based off the model's center of mass. You'll notice that if you solidify before you do the center of mass, that it comes out a different solidify. It makes every detail on your model like expand out of your model. But if you apply your transforms, it conforms it. Never breaches the topology unless you go really high with it. I mean, you could. I don't know, this used to work and it used to give me 2 models. I don't know why it doesn't anymore. It's so weird. It used to work. I don't know. It used to make a second copy of my model, but perfectly smooth. It was so weird, dude. I was experimenting with it with some code, trying to get an add-on to actually, like, make it perfectly smooth. Because it was efficient compared to, like, that blockiness you get when you first import a model or something like that. As soon as you do the dual mesh, for some reason, it just turns into, like, hexagon tiles on your topology. And they fit perfectly, dude. Hexagons work really well for topology. I didn't think that. And if you think about it, if you used hexagons for your topology, subdividing it and triangulating it would be so much better. Because it would triangulate each like a pizza wheel. But you would get this pinpoint of vertices in like every center. But I found it smooth. I don't know why it doesn't work now. It used to. It used to just make another copy. But maybe I'm just doing something wrong. I love that view. Yeah, just go up here into your top little render panel. Where the fuck is it? Here, you're on Studio. Go to Matte Cap. Yours will look like this from Studio. And you can just choose one. You know? But yeah, man, I gotta go get dinner ready here. Thank you all for tuning in. We will be back in a little bit, back around 8 o'clock. If y'all want to tune in, learn a couple things, that'd be a lot of fun. But thank you for tuning in. You can catch these figures soon, or shoot me a Gmail at bossposes@gmail.com for any commissions or any orders for figures. Thank you for tuning in. Have yourselves a wonderful